Un, dos, tres, cuatro.
Dude, this corner is dusty as fuck.
We're here at beautiful Dusty Corners. This corner is dusty as fuck. It's aptly named. The drive to get here was harrowing, to say the least, and kind of intimidating. But, so what are we doing? We are running from Dusty Corners to other aptly named locations like Deadwood Cemetery, Devil's Thumb Climb. I'll probably learn today why they name all these things with terrible, terrible omens. But it's fun. It's going to be hot. I'm not going to be using ice today, but we'll try to stay wet. And main goal is to get the solid downs on the course, downhills on very steep, get a feel for the course. It's hard to be away from my family right now. It's just director Cody and I. It's very fun to be with Cody. He's family, but FaceTimed with Leo and Ollie and Megan this morning, and it was amazing. Have never been away from Ollie yet. And yeah, I mean, I like to think that they'd just be proud of me for being here and doing dusty fucking shit. So it's going to be so fun. I can't wait. This is like getting to do batting practice in Yankee Stadium if you're a baseball fan. Granted, Yankees suck, so let's choose a better option. I was about to say something about the New England Patriots, but that's even worse. So insert your own example here. Maybe doing a training ride up Alpe d'Huez if you're a cycling fan. And I'm going to be thinking about all the legends that have been here before me. And, you know, I get to do a group run with ghosts. So that's going to be a blast. Plus, I have a new watch from the feed, a Garmin that has a route on it. So I'm going to be following a route on my watch, which, you know, I'm coming up on 37 years old. This newfangled technology is beyond me. I'm getting too old for this shit. So the navigation parts will be fun too. So it's going to be a little difficult to get in all the hydration and fueling and everything I need since I won't see Cody for infinite amounts of vert. But I will have a filter bottle of things I can just get from creeks and hoping for the best. So thanks so much for being here. This is going to be a really interesting experience, and I'm hoping to come away today with like a mix of confidence and humility, that place where I think athletes thrive, of understanding what I'm getting into and being excited for what I'm getting into, but also respecting what I'm getting into. And hopefully, if I'm talking to you at the end of today in one piece, I'm looking back with health, you know, ready to go for the rest of this little build, which is just 5 days now before the taper, and also the confidence that on a good day I can win this thing. But there's also a chance I'm talking to you at the end of this with, like, you know, some hurt ego, and that'll be a good lesson to learn too. Either way, it's going to be a blast, so let's do it. This is so fun. I can't believe I'm on the Western States Trail. So we drive an hour from here in Foresthill, where we're staying, to Dusty Corners, which is mile 38 on the Western States course. And the reason we went there is that the next 24 miles are the parts that make or break you at Western States. And I think what's really significant, and what I know from coaching, is that that section has broken a lot more people than it's made. And I see why after running it today. So we started at Dusty Corners, and you just shoot off onto the Western States Trail. And
What a dream.
it's just like this wave of immense gratitude just comes over me because, I mean, I barely run on the Western States Trail and I owe it so much. And, you know, being on it and just being like, wow, we're here. You know, like back in December when we started this video series, or October when I got the golden ticket, or even a few weeks ago when I got a knee injury that I was concerned about. Like, I never really thought I'd get here. I always say, like, stay in the mile you're in. So you don't want to ever think too far ahead. So I never thought too far ahead, even as I tried to plan for it. But stepping onto that trail and experiencing that, something I'm never going to forget. And that was like 0.2 miles into the run. So it was this beautiful, flowy running for the first 5-ish miles of the day, and net downhill. I just flowed at low heart rate and got the all-time fastest time on that section, which is a nice, nice little prize to come away with on your Strava file. But also gave me a little bit of a feeling of, oh, okay, they're human, right? Like, these ghosts I'm talking about, these legends, these people that I admire so much, they're human. They're barely human, but they are human. So from there, the course went into the first descent down the swinging bridge. This is the hardest descent on the course, and it's the descent that I think ruins a lot of races because it just fries your quads. And, I've been training for this as much as I can. And today I just ran down it at a natural pace. And I think I was within the top 3 ever on it, at a low heart rate, feeling very comfortable. And that was also a good reflection because I'm like, I think sometimes the narrative is, oh, that guy trains on the track. But I was a mountain runner, and I am a mountain runner first and foremost. Like, I've never raced really roads and track. I grew up on the East Coast. I was a Beast Coast runner. The Appalachian Trail, that's my shit. And yeah, I've ventured away from that because I've learned that I need to be the best athlete I can be. And I love running more quickly over time. But yeah, going down that descent was just like a kid at recess, it was so fun. And I can't wait to get there on race day because that's when the race truly kicks into gear. Because from that descent, you go across what they call swinging bridge, which is a bridge. It didn't swing for me, which I was a little disappointed about, but what can you do? And then you go up the Deadwood climb, Devil's Thumb climb. I'm not exactly sure what the best way to call it is. The reason it's called Deadwood is because at the top there's a Deadwood cemetery. I don't know why they're burying people here because as far as I could tell, there's no houses or homes. Hopefully they're not dumping bodies there. I don't know exactly what's going on. But it's infamous because it's quite steep. I mean, one of the miles was over 1,000 feet of climbing, and just really comfortable California climbing. So on that climb though, I started to get a little warm already, and I specifically decided coming into this day not to do cooling like I'm going to do on race day. The rationale there is that I do a lot of heat training, as you saw in the previous video, but that heat training isn't done under very high output conditions very often. And there's just that one gap of like, all right, my body can handle the heat, but now it needs to handle the heat when it's also under a lot of internal load from output. And so I was trying to avoid like jumping in creeks and putting ice on myself. And though I did put some water on myself whenever I could from the couple times I was able to see Cody, it wasn't like race day, right? Like this was going to be harder because I let my core temp get high. And by the end of the day, I had almost a full heat stimulus, just like I would from a heat suit, which is pretty cool. And so you come over the top of that steep climb and you have the longest, most beautiful descent ever. It was just a really fun descent. And again, I got trophies on this descent, like top 10 times ever, which is wild because I was really chilling at this point. My heart rate was in the 130s for a lot of it, just relaxed. And I was already warm. So yeah, another good sign that like these infamous downhills are going to be okay. So I came down to the bottom of that, and there I had a choice. Do I cool off in the creek? Do I refill my water? Or do I keep going? And I was like, got to keep going, which was like a little bit challenging because I started the run with 2 bottles, so a liter total of fluid. And by then I had run out of fluid. So I was setting myself up to run the entire climb without it. And on race day, I'll be doing a liter plus per hour. And this was already 2 hours into the run. So I was way underhydrated relative to what I'm going to be. But, you know, it's okay sometimes to be pushing that, though. Dehydration training doesn't have a purpose. That being said, it was nice to like experience, all right, I'm dehydrated, I'm hot, and I can still run up this climb that everyone says is impossible on race day. So, as I was running up the climb to Michigan Bluff, I ended up getting quite hot. That's where I got most of my heat points. And there was a creek. This is like a third of a mile from the top. I didn't realize that because I wasn't really paying attention to exactly where I was. And I had to break my rule. I was like, I'm going down in this creek, and just bam, straight arms out down in the creek. And I was like, all right, that feels good. I filled up my filter bottle there to get a few sips in because I was getting really dehydrated. And that was game changing. Just that little bit made a huge difference. And it's a good reminder on race day to emphasize that. So running up the rest of the climb through this old burn scar and just knowing that you're about to get to Michigan Bluff, which I've also never been to despite coaching this race and coaching winners of this race. And I can see that that's the climb on race day that is the race. Everything else we see after that happens on that climb. We just don't know it yet. So on race day, I need to be cool, I need to be hydrated, and I need to be ready to show off like what I've worked for. All those speed workouts, all those track workouts, the weightlifting, the biking has been designed to make me faster on that climb than I would be otherwise. I think I'll be able to run every step of this course after seeing the hardest parts. And you run every step of this course, who knows what's possible. GI training. I intentionally overheated a little bit there. So, I thought this course was hilly. No? No hills? We're doing an entire thing with Tailwind High Carb in it for both hydration, fueling, and GI training. I have a major hydration need right now. I'm extremely dehydrated, which I won't do on race day, obviously, but I didn't stop at all outside of one creek. Ooh, this is pro level. We're stirring it with Courtney DeWalter birthday cake recovery mix. I'm losing a little bit, but it's gonna taste like nectar of the gods. Best lemonade of your life. So coming over that, and it was delightful because then got to do the GI training, which was 90 grams of carbs, of Tailwind High Carb in a big thing of water, and then also fill up 2 more bottles, cool off, for the rest of the run from Michigan Bluff to Foresthill. And that part's like hyper exposed. And there's a little road climb that feels good. And then you drop down again, the last nasty descent of this whole course. And also felt good. Also got another top 10 trophy despite just like chilling. So that's a really good sign because I don't think I'm a descender at heart. I think I'm, a flat runner or climber. So that was really cool. And then at that point, oh my gosh, I was cooked. Like just my core temp was very high. At one point it was about 102, which is as high as I ever want to get. And hopefully on race day I don't get anywhere close. And I was coming up what they call the Bath Road climb, where it's, some trail that isn't too bad, but it was a little tough in the heat. And then the pavement for like 0.8 miles. It was just kind of fun to be like, wow, I get to be in this little miniature pain cave on the Western States course. That's in a very controlled way, and it was all intentional, but like, how cool. Because on race day, I'm hoping I don't feel any of that pain cave, right? Like if it goes according to plan, the race gets hard for other reasons, but not because, you know, I'm seared to a crisp. I'm a lobster boy or whatever. So I was able to run well up and over that climb and into Foresthill. And then got to say hi to where the aid station's going to be and where Megan and Leo and Ollie are going to be and my parents are going to be and director Cody's going to be, and just like envisioning that day when Foresthill is full of thousands of people. In fact, I don't know if they're prepared for how many people there are going to be at Foresthill, and I can't wait for it, right? Our sport is reaching more people, and that's the whole point of why we're doing this.
This is the aid station. Practice at 9. We'll be set up right here.
You know, way back when I started coaching, Western States was this race that, you know, ignited trail running. And it's also the race that ignited our coaching business. We had athletes succeed here early and often, and it's what made coaching my job. I went to law school. I was a lawyer. I thought I had my dream job, but my dream job was waiting, and it was waiting here in Foresthill. So lots of great memories here coaching, none running. And today I got to run the hardest part of the Western States 100 course, and it was so much fun.
All right, 24 and a half, 8-minute pace, 5,000 climbing, 7,000 descending. Right. Next time. Well, cool. If Leadville was a graduating college and Javelina was a master's degree in the heat, then this is like a PhD in both of those. You know, the steepness of Leadville with some of the altitude plus the heat of Javelina. My only concern for race day is whether I'll be able to hydrate enough, because the aid stations are farther apart for me than they were at Javelina, where I was never more than 30 minutes out of an aid station, so I could take in my ridiculous sweat rate.
Yeah, just was like, all right, that was a day. Just a workmanlike day, not anything that is super special in the big scheme of my life or training, and that is enough to do something big on race day.
Nervous. Good.
Is to run from here in Foresthill down Cal Street, which is a really interesting part in the course because this is 100K to like mile 78 down to the river crossing. And this is the place that if athletes feel good, they really start moving up. That being said, the old wisdom used to be the race doesn't start till Foresthill. That's not the way it's going to work this year. It's not the way it's ever going to work again. The race starts at mile 1, and it's going to be basically not over, but like you're gonna know a lot by Foresthill because the gaps are gonna be huge. Just seeing that course, like the way people run this nowadays. So I think in the old days it was about, all right, now who can hammer? Now it's gonna be about, all right, who can survive the best? And so tomorrow I kind of want to do this in a different context of not survival, but hopefully thriving a little, though my legs are going to be quite fried, I assume, from the downhills today. And open up the stride a little bit. And ideally get a little bit more like light intensity, right? Like high zone 2, low zone 3 types of intensity out there. Because the goal over the next 5 days before I hit my taper is to instigate just a little bit of a functional overreach. So a functional overreach is where an athlete's performance suffers because of fatigue, but then once they rest, they subsequently super compensate to reach higher levels. I very rarely functionally overreach in training because it's introduces the danger of non-functional overreach, which is negative for both health and fitness outcomes. And health comes first. Health is at the top of our order of priorities. But when you're going into a 100-miler, you get a sweet taper. Like I take so many rest days in my tapers. Probably going to take 4 or 5 rest days in the 2-week cycle and not do much challenging work. So it's an okay time to kind of toe that line. And so that's going to continue tomorrow with a little bit of pushing, hopefully, as long as everything's okay. Nothing crazy. And then a few more days that are challenging, and then shutdown time is here. And yeah, just wild. I can't believe it. Ooh. I'm at 18. Gotta keep jogging. Make sure I don't anger the shot attack. Whew. That part of the course was actually way trickier and tougher than I expected. I see why that's the place where you often see the race go to shreds for people. So, got my ankle like 47 times, but I was able to run through it. Good reminder for the race. At 100-mile pace, you're okay. And yeah, those fast times are a little more crazy than I thought, so might taper a little bit harder. But so fun. And yeah. So as we sit here, you know, assuming everything goes according to plan over the next 2 weeks, I'll be back in California with my family this time, shooting for the stars. The dream has only gotten scarier, you know? Like, I saw the course today. I'm not scared of the course. But if you're not scared of 100 miles, you're not fucking thinking. If you're not respectful of your competitors, you're also not thinking. 15 years ago, when Killian Jornet first won Western States, I think, I was like toiling as hard as I could to run a 2:52 marathon, which great, right? Like 2:52, fantastic. But a 2:52 is not beating Killian Jornet, who's one of the best athletes that have ever lived, right? Like, it's just different. And I've worked really hard to reach the point that like my big scary goals go from running a 2:52 marathon or whatever to trying to line up against the best in the world at 100 miles and see what I'm capable of. So on race day, I'm not competing with them, right? Like I want us all to have good days, and whoever's good day is the best. Fantastic. That sounds like that's what sports are to me. I don't want to have my success be because of someone else's misfortune. But I have coached this race. I have coached winners at this race.
coached top 10 finishers every single year. I think it's been like 3+ every year for, I don't know how many years, a lot of years. I know my fitness. I also know that it's going to take something that I've never done before. It's going to take something way more special than the things last year, right? Like, it's going to take something that seems truly unthinkable right now. But here's what I hope you take away from this. All big, scary goals are unthinkable before they happen. So I assume this will be at the end of the video, so I can say it here, because I assume if you get this far, you're not hate watching it. But I am in it to win it. And that might be ridiculous if we're watching this on June 29th after the race, right? Like, people are like, why did you ever think that was possible? But I can't wait to find out. So yeah, thank you all. Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, the final little thought I have is just, you know, how little it matters, how silly it all is, how much things are going to be great no matter what. And maybe the final parting little piece of wisdom that, you know, I think everybody learns the hard ways is you set a big scary goal, not because of some outcome, but because after you go through that process, you become a little bit different person. And this year has been wild. We had a kid. I put myself out there in ways I never could dream of. You know, Megan and I's love only grew deeper, and I got to meet so many people through this channel. And, you know, I love the person I've become because of this big, scary goal. So, yeah, let's go do it. And hopefully sometime around 7 to 7:20 on June 28th, you can tune in to see me finish. But hey, if it's 7 a.m. on June 29th, let's make it a party at 7 a.m. So, love you guys. Let's do it.